Starry Eyes. Kevin Kulsh and Dennis Widmeyer's 2014 film Starry Eyes premiered at South by Southwest on March 8, 2014, after being partly funded through a Kickstarter campaign. Sarah Walker works at a fast food restaurant while chasing acting roles. Her roommate Tracy and her friend Danny are indifferent to her struggles, and her friend Erin keeps trying to take roles from her. Sarah auditions for a film called The Silver Scream for a company called Astraeus Pictures. The casting director gives her a lackluster response until Sarah goes to the bathroom to scream and rip her hair out, which draws the casting director's interest. Back in the room, Sarah repeats the motion at the casting director's request, then gets dismissed again. Sarah quits her job and gets a callback. At the second audition, she is told to disrobe and to open herself up to transform. She experiences euphoria and a trance state and notices the casting director wearing a pentagram necklace. At a third audition, the producer makes a demand of her, and she refuses and runs home. Danny casts her in his own project. Then Sarah sees him kissing Erin at a party. She returns to the producer's house and submits to him. Her body starts to deteriorate. Her hair and nails fall out, and she vomits maggots in the bathtub. The producer calls and tells her she can die or embrace the transformation. She goes to Erin's house, cuts her cheek with a knife, then stabs her, kills 2 others in the house, suffocates Erin with a bag, and kills Danny in his van. Astraeus Pictures reveals itself as a cult that worships a demon of the same name and puts Sarah through a rebirth ritual. She emerges hairless and unblemished, returns home, kills Tracy, and puts on the gown, wig, and pentagram necklace left for her. Devil's Pass. Rennie Harlin's 2013 film Devil's Pass follows 5 American college students who travel to Russia's Ural Mountains to document the deaths of 9 hikers at Dyatlov Pass in 1959. Holly King leads the trip alongside filmmaker Jensen Day, sound engineer Denise Evers, and guides J.P. Hauser and Andy Thatcher. In Vijay, Sergei's aunt tells them 11 bodies were recovered from the original incident, not 9, and that the last 2 carried a strange machine. The group hikes toward the pass, finds a severed tongue inside an abandoned weather tower, and uses a Geiger counter to locate a bunker that locks from the outside. After an avalanche, 2 armed men fire on the group instead of helping them. Inside the bunker, the remaining students find an abandoned laboratory containing photographs referencing wartime teleportation experiments, along with the skeletons of past test subjects who never made it out. The bunker's own execution room shows that Soviet soldiers were once sent through the same portal and killed after they came back changed. JP is killed by 2 creatures that appear and disappear around the cave. Holly and Jensen find a duplicate of Jensen's own camera, identical down to the footage already recorded. The 2 creatures corner them, forcing them through a locked door into a final chamber containing a portal. With no other way out, Holly and Jensen enter the portal together, picturing the area just outside the bunker entrance. 2 frozen bodies appear in the snow outside the bunker in the year 1959. Soviet soldiers find them, along with a camera matching the one the students carried, and chase off a young woman who had discovered the scene first. The soldiers strip the bodies and hang them on hooks inside the now active bunker. As the soldiers leave, the 2 bodies begin to move again, revealed as the mutated forms of Holly and Jensen. Look Away. Asaf Bernstein's 2018 film Look Away follows Maria Brennan, a bullied high school senior living with a distant father and a mother struggling with depression. Maria finds a sonogram in her house showing that her mother was once pregnant with twins. Maria's classmate Mark torments her, her friend Lily treats her carelessly, and her reflection begins moving on its own one day, introducing herself as Aram. Aram is confident and assertive where Maria is timid, and she offers to take Maria's sadness away. Maria's father Dan gives her a birthday gift that turns out to be an offer of cosmetic surgery. After Lily abandons her at a skating rink and Mark humiliates her at the prom, Maria goes to the mirror and switches places with Aram. At school, Aram exposes Mark's crush on her in front of everyone and confronts him alone in the locker room, breaking his knee with a hockey stick. She reveals Dan's affair to Amy. During a skating lesson, Aram chases Lily across the ice, and Lily falls and fatally strikes her head on the pavement. Maria, watching from the mirror, begs Aram to switch back. Aram refuses and begins a relationship with Lily's boyfriend Sean. When police come looking to question Sean about Lily's death, Aram panics and kills him with a bottle. Aram confronts Dan at his clinic, removes her clothing, and asks whether he would love her if she were deformed. When he answers yes, she cuts his throat with a scalpel. It is revealed that Maria had a twin sister, born deformed, who Dan had taken off life support against Amy's wishes. Aram is that sister. Aram looks into the mirror and no longer sees Maria there. She returns home and lies down beside Amy, and the final images show Amy holding both daughters at once. Inner Demons. Seth Grossman's 2014 film Inner Demons follows Carson Morris, a former straight-A student at a Catholic high school who becomes a heroin user after enrolling there. Her family enrolls her in an intervention-style reality show called Step Inside Recovery. Production assistant Jason forms a bond with Carson at the treatment center and comes to believe her claim that she is possessed by a demon and uses drugs to keep it contained. Clinic physician Dean Predis dismisses the idea of bringing in an exorcist. After Carson attacks a fellow patient, Predis discovers Jason has given her heroin to calm her, and Carson is expelled from the clinic. Jason keeps investigating on his own after being fired from the show. He learns from Carson's friend McKee that Carson was possessed during a ritual her friend staged as a prank, using a book called Codex Demonis. Jason obtains a copy of the book and researches exorcism before forcing his way into the Morris family home, followed by Suzanne and Tim from the film crew. Carson's mother, Beth, admits that Carson suffered abuse tied to her father's drinking. Jason attempts to exorcise Carson himself. She breaks free and flees outside, where she kills Tim with a knife, then returns inside and kills her mother. Jason makes one final appeal to Carson, and she appears to calm down. Before anything more can happen, Carson's father enters with a shotgun, shoots Carson in the head, and then turns the gun on himself. The demon that possessed Carson then manifests inside Jason. He strangles Suzanne to death and shuts off the camera. His eyes turn pure black, matching how Carson's eyes appeared earlier in the film. The demon survives the deaths of everyone who tried to contain it and moves on into a new host. The Conspiracy. Christopher McBride's 2012 film, The Conspiracy, follows filmmakers Aaron and Jim as they document conspiracy theorist Terrence G., who shows them clippings connecting historical events to a secret society called the Tarsus Club. Terrence grows agitated during an interview, points out a man he believes is following him, and disappears without a trace shortly after. Aaron and Jim return to his ransacked apartment and salvage his clippings. Aaron begins to sympathize with the theories, while Jim stays skeptical. A dark car starts following the pair, and Aaron's own apartment is broken into, so he moves in with Jim, his wife, and their child. The two locate Mark Tucker, the only person known to have written about the Tarsus Club, who agrees to an interview if they erase everything they have posted online about the group. Tucker tells them the club worships the god Mithras and sacrifices a bull at each meeting. A groundskeeper is paid to smuggle Aaron and Jim into the site of the next meeting, hidden inside bags in the back of a truck. At the meeting, members force new arrivals through an outdoor initiation, declaring loyalty to Mithras and receiving raven masks. Aaron sees Tucker greeting other members and realizes he was part of the club the entire time. Jim finishes his ritual and leaves wearing a raven mask. Aaron finishes his and is instead given a bull mask. Members carrying daggers chase him through the woods. His hidden camera keeps recording as they catch him, though it never shows what happens to him directly. The footage is later revealed to have been edited into a documentary released by the Tarsus Club itself. Club Senior Vice President Nicole Higgins states on camera that the attack on Aaron was staged to frighten off an intruder and that this is standard practice for anyone who tries to infiltrate their meetings. Aaron is never seen again after that night. The Den. Zachary Donahue's 2013 film, The Den, follows Elizabeth Benton, a graduate student who receives grant money to study behavior on a random video chat website called The Den. She records her sessions around the clock for her thesis, spending less time with her boyfriend Damien, her friend Max, her friend Jenny, and her pregnant sister Lynn. During one session, Elizabeth connects with a user named PyroGirl16 and watches what appears to be a young woman being murdered on camera. She reports the footage to the police, who tell her most videos like this turn out to be fake and that there is no way to trace where or when it happened. Elizabeth's laptop is hacked, and it begins turning on by itself when she is not using it. Jenny is later found dead in an apparent suicide, staged through messages sent from her own account. Max is abducted, and Elizabeth watches him suffocated to death through a live feed. Damien disappears and is also killed. A masked intruder breaks into Elizabeth's home, and she fights him off, but she is captured outside shortly after. She wakes up chained inside an abandoned building with a camera fixed to her forehead, forced to watch her friends' deaths play out on a screen in front of her. Elizabeth kills one of her captors with her own chain, frees herself, and fights her way out of the building with a hammer, wounding or killing several more of the men holding her. She hijacks a car to escape, but is rammed by another vehicle and captured again. The final footage shows Elizabeth hanged and shot to death, broadcast live for paying viewers. The killers are revealed to run a black market website that sells filmed murders as entertainment. The site moves on to its next target, a woman named Brienne, who had spoken to Elizabeth earlier in the film. That's the list. Subscribe for more, hit like on the way out, and more horror breakdowns are coming soon.